When we have someone we know who wants to return, their rehab is geared that way, says John Ferguson, Chief of Prosthetics at the Army Center for the Intrepid at Fort Sam in Houston, Texas. He awakes to the look into the eyes of his wife, who was holding his hand as he lays in the hospital bed. The service member has been sedated for days and started to remember that he was informed that he would lose his leg below the knee. Bell's wife pushes him in the wheelchair through the corridor of the hospital, and he looks at other wounded soldiers like himself. There are signs all over the hospital that read, "Never give up," and we're glad you're home. He waves back to his family and friends as they bend over to hug him in the visitors' lobby of the hospital. The nurse informs everyone that visiting hours are over and the soldier needs to get his rest because he's starting therapy tomorrow. Hello everyone, my name is Major Seabrook-Cooper. I am now a Army Reserve Active Guard member, and I have been in the military for over 20 years. Before I began my active duty career, I was a social worker for over 6 years, and I am stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I want to talk to you about this situation because most of you have experienced these feelings when you woke up in your hospital bed. Life has a way of throwing things at you that you didn't expect. Suffering limb loss is one of them. The loss of a limb doesn't mean that your military career is over. It is possible to stay on active duty depending on your physical abilities after becoming an amputee. Service members who suffer limb loss can remain on active duty. Service members on active duty need to be aware that they have options to remain on active duty. As a service member advocate, my responsibility is to make sure that you are aware of the regulations and requirements to remain on active duty. I will make sure that you have all the knowledge that you need to know about the rights of a wounded warrior. It's your decision to make, but if the military is the only life for you, then I am here to let you know you can do it. Anyone who feels that they are not sure of their options or want to know what guidelines have to be followed should speak with me before talking to anyone else. I can provide resources for clinical support, referrals to healthcare professionals, and coordination through the military board. Becoming an amputee will change your life. However, you can still strive in your military career. The advances in technology allow more options for service members. I will work diligently to provide assistance to all service members. I have experienced that a service member that wants to return active duty can perform his or her duties just as well as their colleagues. You may be wondering if the type of amputation determines if you can remain on active duty. Well, I'm here to tell you that we have seen all types of amputations, from those with lower extremities, upper extremities, and multiple extremities remain on active duty. Ultimately, each treatment plan is different depending on your injury and your motivation to continue serving in the military. Becoming an amputee isn't a adjustment for any person. However, it may be more challenging for a service member because the mere nature of your job is to defend our country. You want to be assured that you are in a place in the military and you want to meet the military occupational specialty standards without feeling that you have been given any special treatment. You want the members of your team to feel that you are still that soldier, sailor, Marine, or any branch that you were before the injury, right? That is why there is a process in place to help determine what is best for you. And if you can remain in your MOS or maybe in the same area of your MOS in a supporting role. There are different guidelines for each branch that will allow service members to remain on active duty. In many cases, it takes at least a year for a service member to return to duty, according to Ferguson. As an advocate, I am here to support you throughout the process of returning to active duty. I have reviewed the demographics of this particular group, and you are all Army, so I will discuss the Army process. You will be assigned or attached to a medical hold company while you are recovering from injuries. The company is responsible for being your liaison with the hospital clinicians and the physical evaluation board liaison officer. The company will make sure that you are each assigned a social worker to support you and your family. The MHC will assist with everything from your pay allowances, lodging, leave requirements, and orders. These professionals will make sure that you receive your medical appointments and administrative paperwork is processed properly. Upon completion of your rehabilitation, a permanent plan of treatment is determined, and you will begin coordination with the transition office. The transition office prepares the discharge document, the DD-214, which is required for veteran administrations to begin your process. This process is required even though you may remain on active duty. If you remain on active duty, you will have new orders to your next duty assignment. There will be a medical evaluation that will determine if you meet the medical retention standards. This is something that I myself have been through. So don't get discouraged. I have diabetes and I had to go before a board to remain on active duty. This is a regulatory requirement to be in the military. So please don't fret about it. It's just a process. After the MAB determines that you meet both the medical retention standards, you will be referred to the Physical Evaluation Board. The board will determine if you are fit for duty. If you are deemed not able to return to duty, there is an appeal process. It is a request called the continuance on active duty or the continuance on active reserve. If this is what you want to do, we will do everything in our power to make sure that we work hard to get you back in the uniform. Now that I've summarized the process, it is up to you to decide what you and your family think is best for you. You have my support and all of my team members' support. There are some stereotypes and myths that you are weak or you are not tough if you decide not to remain on active duty. It is totally up to you. If you wish not to remain on active duty, you will go through the same process. However, your packet will be sent to the liaison when you have been determined to be medically stable and able to function with outpatient services in place. Your compensations for your military service will be determined by your years in service, the degree of your injuries, and the treatment that you need after your discharge or retirement. Keeping these points in mind, it takes everyone to ensure that you receive the best treatment, information, support, and benefits possible. I want you all to know that you can remain on active duty after suffering limb loss if you are eligible. Understanding your rights and your benefits are very important to determine if you want to remain on active duty. First, with changes in technology and acceptance within the military services, you can remain on active duty. The medical advances and rehabilitation treatments are available and more effective to help service members regain the physical standards necessary for their MOS. Secondly, as an advocate for service members with limb loss, I will work diligently to provide assistance to all service members. Third, I have experienced that service members can remain on active duty in their current MOS or reclassify to a different MOS that is best suited for their abilities. The choice is yours to remain on active duty. There are many ways to support your country. You have already made the ultimate sacrifice. I just want you to know that you are a warrior and you can remain on active duty. I want you to feel that you are family, and family protects each other. The recovery process requires a lot of patience and strength. This is not an easy road, but we are here to support you along the way, the entire way. This is a personal decision that you will have to take time to decide. While you are healing, take the time to look deep in yourself to find what you would like to do. Thank you. And again, you can remain in the Army.